Greetings and wholeness tribe. Greetings. I trust and hope that everything is wholesome, balanced, and very expansive with you wherever in the world you are today. And I want to welcome you back once more again to the healing space. This is your healing space, a space that we've ultimately cultivated for each other to demystify the illusion of health and to support each other as we go through this human existence of a lifetime. Welcome back again. In fact, I was not really intended to go live tonight. I'm just in the shop. I got a lot to do. Okay, I ended up sleeping the whole entire day because we was on live all the way back to the morning yesterday again, in a sense, and I was tired, so I kind of slept the day away. So now I'm up, and I got a whole bunch of stuff on my board. I had to do consultation earlier, a couple consultation well, and so tonight is much more of a working night for me, more than to answer questions. So I might not focus that deeply on all the questions because I got stuff to do, right? But I figured, you know what? I know y'all gonna be up anyway, scrolling down the algorithm. We might as well come into the space. We might as well come into the space and just try to connect and show you what I'm up to or what we got going on. Now, tonight again, I am going to be making some more parasite cleanse again, like we made the other day. And I'm also hungry, but I'm not entirely sure what to eat. So I just went to the supermarket and I ended up getting some goodies. So I'm going to share with you, as per usual, what did I get, and we're going to come up with something. Okay, I got me some stuff. And what's so funny, I only went to the store to get me some water, and I end up leaving the store with like $150 out of items. I'm like, damn, I'm doing this again. But guess what? As we said before, your health is not an expense. You see, it's an investment. So it's kind of like either you're going to pay the farmer or you're going to pay a big pharma, if you get what I mean. Because it's like if you complain about, oh, I'm spending so much money on food, and then you end up getting sick and you end up in a hospital, then they're going to drug you out. And we already know what happened once those people get their hands on you. Once them white people, once them people in the white coats get their hands on you, you're done. Okay? The white coats folks get you, you're done. They're going to be drugging you out. And as you already know, there's no potential of you ever reclaiming back your health and your vitality. So, my advice to you is this: try and ensure that you don't end up in there. Try the best of your ability to do whatever you got to do to make sure that you don't end up in the grasp of the people in the white coats, because you're going to be done. Okay? The people in the white coats are more like a grim reaper. Like once you go there, most of the time you're kind of like under that bondage for the rest of your life, and you'll never come back to normal again, ever. So my advice: change your diet now. Stop eating detrimental foods that are depleting the life force out of your organs, making you old and making you sick, right? And yeah, start to do some cleansing, some detoxing to ensure that you don't end up there. All right? Mm-hmm. The whole idea is that you don't end up there. Okay? Okay, so for everybody on YouTube, so we're actually YouTube live because I'm blocked off TikTok. Okay, TikTok got me banned for like 2 weeks. So I can't go live on TikTok. Okay, I can't go live on TikTok. So yeah, now we're gonna be back on YouTube. Now for anybody within the YouTube space, okay, I drink um fella. I'm actually not familiar with what that is. But for everybody within the YouTube space, if you notice that I'm not really interacting with the screen, it's only because for some reason the live chat, it does not stay up on YouTube. So I can't get to see what you guys are asking me. Okay, unless I come over there and like tap on the screen, and then all the comments pop up, and then all the comments vanish within seconds again. Okay, I've been trying to figure it out in a way to get it to stay, but it just I don't see any option that allows me to allow the chat to float. Okay, so YouTube, that's just kind of weird with YouTube, where it does not allow the chat or the comment section to remain on the page. So that's one of the reasons why. For me to see the comments, I would have to keep coming over here and clicking on the screen. But greetings though, greetings and welcome back to the healing space. So we're about to get into some very interesting things tonight. All right. Um, I went to the supermarket, I got me some goodies, and we're gonna make a meal. I'm thinking about either making porridge, I can make fried banana, I can saute dinosaur kale with fried green boro bananas, dinosaur kale, and I got some beans already too. So, nah, I'm not sure where we're gonna go with this. Wagwan, wagwan, wagwan. I never really mean to come live so late, okay? But I figured I'm just gonna be doing some stuff in here, so might as well. All right. So tonight is not one of them nights where we're gonna be going into some deep stuff, okay? So we'll leave that out for tomorrow night. Okay, so I got stuff to do, and just want to bring you along the journey with me. Do we need a multivitamin? No. The only multivitamin you need is sea moss. Okay, sea moss is a multivitamin that you need. It's gonna give you iron, magnesium, potassium, phosphorus, copper, cobalt, and so forth. Right. The remaining vitamins that you need, you're gonna get from oranges and papaya, right? And blueberries, blackberries, goji berry, dates, and so forth. Okay, guys, remember that vitamin as a concept turns out to be fake. Okay, even sometimes when I mention like vitamin C and different kind of vitamins, I'm only still mentioning it in that regard because that's what your consciousness is used to. If I start going into the depth of how vitamins are fake, like a lot of people going to be like, oh, what do you mean? They're not going to understand. You see? But it's okay to just use vitamins, because people are already accustomed to that definition and that concept or that theory, and so we just kind of leave them with that understanding of it because we don't really have to go that deep. However, if you do some research, you realize that even vitamin C, the theory of vitamin C and vitamins was created by a scientist during the 1900s that goes by the name of Linus Pauling. Okay, and Linus Pauling is a scientist that's like he's well known or is very famous for other researches or discovery or whatever he had going on at the time. So then he came up with the whole concept of vitamin C, saying that it can prevent cancer, right? And it can do all these amazing things. Funny enough, I think he ended up dying from the very same pills that he claimed that was going to help with cancer. No. Now, the thing is, because he was so famous, just like how, you know, we can be talking about something and people's like, oh, okay. But a moment a celebrity comes in and copy the same thing that we've been talking about and say it, everybody's like, wow, amazing. Like we see this all the time. Okay? Like you have celebrities that follow people and take knowledge from people and then repeat it. And everybody's like, oh my God, yeah, this is, but when the original or the originating person that was saying it is like, because you're not a celebrity, nobody's gravitating towards it with the same kind of energy, right? So I'm explaining this so that you can see that like when a person is famous or they're a celebrity, basically people will tend to run with whatever they say. So because Linus Pauling was a famous biochemist, once he basically expressed his theory of the vitamin C and came up with the whole vitamin C stuff, right? The whole vitamin industry took off crazy. Okay? By the time other independent researchers and scientists start to look into it and realize that, oh, this is fake. Listen, it was already too late. The vitamin industry was already at $400 billion. It was a $400 billion industry at that time, and you guys already know. Anything in this country that makes money, the system is built upon capitalism. So anything in the system that makes money, whether it's fake or not, they're just gonna keep it because money. It's all about money at the end of the day, right? So to explain to you about vitamin C, what you have to understand is that what vitamins is, it's basically a complex phytonutrient, right? It's a very complex phytonutrient that is naturally presented inside of fruits and vegetables. It's not something that you can really isolate, really. You get what I'm saying? So the whole theory of the vitamin C was that he became aware that, oh, there's some phytonutrients that's inside of fruits and whatever. And his whole thing was about basically creating vitamin C tablets or whatever not by by some means of synthesizing something or whatever not. But that very same thing ended up killing him. Okay? Because what? Vitamins are not something that you can isolate and take it out and put it into a pill. No, it is naturally presented inside of fruits and vegetable like how God intended for you to have it. Think about it. If God wanted you to have vitamin C in a tablet, it wouldn't have came inside of the fruit, right? Just like when it comes to processed sugar, clearly you can tell that, hey, processed sugar is a violation against the human body and its function because God did not give you the sugar like that. The sugar comes inside of the fruits, inside of the vegetables. And then you have people extracting the sugarcane juice and boiling it at 450 degrees and end up creating what you call your processed sugar, your polydextrose, your sucrose, your what's the other name for it? The molasses, the syrup that you be pouring on your pancakes. All that shit is synthetic. It was never meant for you to have that. You see? So likewise, if the phytonutrients or the vitamins are naturally presented instead of the fruits and the vegetables, that's where you need to get it from. That's the whole reason as to why you have hydrochloric acid in your stomach to basically break down the food material, separates these elements and allow your small intestines to extract them into the bloodstream so that your body can have them. Okay? Also, for anybody on YouTube, can you all share this video for me? Share this live for me. Same thing on IG. Can you all share the live for me, please? Based off the shadow banning and stuff, how they suppress the reach. I do have to ask you guys to do this every single time that we're live. Otherwise, nobody else knows that we're live. Okay? So I'm gonna ask that you share this live for me. I will deeply appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Same thing on YouTube. If you're on YouTube right now, just based off the level of shadow banning that I go through on all platforms, I'm going to ask that you share the live so that others can know that we're live. So yeah, so when it comes to vitamins, okay, understand that these are naturally presented inside of fruits and vegetables, and generally they can be isolated. So you will never find me going inside of a vitamin shop or inside a GNC talking about I'm buying vitamins inside of a bottle. No, I'm gonna go eat some oranges if I want vitamin C and papaya if I want vitamin C. Pine needle if I want to get vitamin C. If I want to get iron, I'm gonna go eat a lot of blueberries, dates, goji berry. Those contain a lot of iron. You see what I'm saying? If I'm looking for stuff like potassium, phosphorus, I'm gonna go to honeydew melon, cantaloupe melon, toad skin melon, golden melon, literally. So no, I do not recommend the whole multivitamin because that shit is trash. Okay, that's not real. And especially, I want you to keep in mind that whenever you buy vitamins in a bottle, you're buying it in an inorganic form. It's inorganic. It's not organic. It's inorganic. Okay? So even if they're trying to say extract the calcium or whatever nutrients they're trying to extract it from some kind of a material, just through that whole synthesizing process, they have to use chemical to synthesize to try to remove that complex nutrient from its original um, counterpart in that sense. They got to use some kind of chemical to extract it. That alone makes it become dangerous, and it's also inorganic. So even if you do consume it and put it inside your body cannot really metabolize and utilize that because it's in an inorganic form. Your body can only synthesize things and assimilate things that are in an organic form, because organic means what? What's the definition of organic? Because see, a lot of people believe that organic means, oh, they didn't spray nothing on it or this grown naturally. That's not the true definition of organic. 90% of people don't even know the true definition of what it means when something is inorganic or something is organic. It had nothing to do with going inside the supermarket and looking for something that has the label organic on it. That's not what it means. Go look again. Organic means derive of life. It means something that has life, like a living organism. So organic or living organism, something that has life in it. That's the true definition of organic. Inorganic is something that's devoid of life. Okay? Like a piece of metal, a piece of gold, a crystal. It's not an animated object, right? It's an inanimated object, which means that it doesn't have any life pulsing from it. It doesn't have any wavelength, heartbeat, wavelength. It doesn't have no life in it. It's just a what? Inanimated object. That's what it means when something is inorganic. Something that's organic, organic come from organ, organism, something that has life in it. You see how that works? So if you're really trying to get or assimilate the proper nutrients and minerals and elements into your body, you want to get it from something that has life in it. Organic form is going to assimilate. Okay? So basically what I'm saying here, for instance, because I'm going to be showing these to you regardless anyway. Okay? So these are what I end up getting just now at the supermarket. Because we are going to get into some stuff here tonight. Okay? All right. So I have fresh oranges right now. Just got them out of the store. It was looking good, so I was like, you know what? These got to come home with me. Okay? So this is organic because what? It's full of life, fiber, energy, water content, just like the human body, right? So if you could put one of these fruits under what we call Kirlian photography, which was developed in Germany, right? It's a kind of special camera that if it takes a picture of the human body or any object, it basically shows the aura. It can see your aura and it can show the life force or the light that's emitting from the item, basically. And this is what we call biophoton. Okay, so if you look at a fruit, any fruit through Kirlian photography, you're gonna see energy emitting from it. Also, if you use the same camera and you take a look at a piece of meat, like the life force energy in the meat is almost none. It's like barely fading in that sense because it doesn't contain any life force. But fruits, bright and full of energy. Because remember, fruits are the byproduct of the sun, right? Common sense. You guys learned this. Listen, you guys already learned this in science school about the process of photosynthesis, how the plants absorb the sunlight through the chlorophyll and create the food. So obviously a fruit is a ball of energy, it's a ball of sunlight. And you use energy. You're an energetic being, right? Your voice is energy. Your eyes absorb light. You're literally made up of light. So the physical body is just what we call slow down light. If you understand metaphysics and how energy dilates in that sense, right? So all physical objects is still light, but they're slow down light. So generally you need light to feed light. See how that works? Yes. So fruits contains, the energy that fruits contain is what we call biophoton. So in a sense, what I'm saying is you can go to any laboratory, any pharmacy and buy you a whole big bottle capsule full of so-called vitamins, right? And I guarantee I will get more vitamins out of eating this orange than you can get out of consuming that whole bottle. Because your body can't assimilate that because that's inorganic. That's dead material. This is living material. Notice when I squeeze it, right? Notice when I squeeze it, what do you see out of it? Living life and water. We know that anywhere you find water, you find life, right? Water is the medium or the element of life itself. That's why even the baby inside of the stomach is suspended in water, right? Notice, instead of water, water is the only element that life lives in. Water comes from it. Even the frogs, they go drop their eggs or their tadpoles inside of the water. Mosquitoes have to drop their eggs inside of the water. Water is the element of all life. Because water is also air. A lot of people don't even realize that air is also water. Air is just vibrating faster. You see? Air is just vibrating faster, but air is also water. So air does come from water, derived from water. That's the reason why you can put a pot of water on your stove and turn the fire on, and the whole evaporation process takes place, because what the fire does, it breaks the bond between the hydrogen and the oxygen, setting the molecules free, and now the water becomes air. You see, and aren't you breathing air right now for life? To be here looking at me right now, you're breathing in air, but it's not air that you're breathing in water. You think you're breathing in air. No, you're breathing in water, just at a more smaller vapor of water. Okay? And to also prove this, you notice how fish carry gills that allows them to pull the oxygen from the water vapor? So it goes to show you that air is water, just a more a faster vibratory medium of water. And yeah, so you're underwater right now. That's why even in the Bible where it talks about that there's I don't remember the exact scripture, but I'm sure most of the Christians that's here pretty much knows what I'm talking about. But there is a part of the Bible where it talks about that. Um, so it talks about, I can't remember the exact definition of it, right? But it talks about Bombakla. Well, I can't remember this now. Remember, I just can't find the word feet. All right. What is the thing called that's apparently over the earth? What is it called? Y'all know what I'm talking about. But the Bible talks about it, the fact that there's something over the earth in that sense, like it's can you all help me? I can't find the word right now. I can't find the word. I'm pretty sure one of y'all must know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah, the dome. Okay, the dome. Thank you. I don't know why it was so hard for my brain to pick up that word, right? Yeah, the firmament. It's actually the firmament. It's the firmament specifically. But yeah, the dome, the firmament, right? So obviously in the Bible, it talks about the firmament, and then it talks about water above and also water below, right? So if we're going by the biblical text, we can come to an agreement and say that, okay, right? If the Bible is actually depicting how this world is, which is actually very interesting, which is going to branch us over into a whole nother body of conversation surrounding this very topic, right? So if we're going by that, saying that the firmament and there's water above and there's also water below, then somewhat you can say that space itself is the ocean. And so we're actually encased instead of this world, but we're still underwater. And that kind of supports the whole idea or the whole awareness that even what we're breathing in right now, calling air, is still water, just a tinier vapor of water. Kind of makes sense, right? And as I'm saying, this is also going to branch us over into the whole thing about space, because you see like how everybody tend to believe that, oh, whatever NASA tells them, which is pure garbage and bullshit. I'm glad now that the Epstein files come out, and now people realize that the people who you think was telling you the truth was been lying from you from the get-go. So now you realize that everything was just a program to condition your mind, right? Have you focus on other things while they were harvesting children. That's what all that stuff is about. Oh, we went to the moon. You have the whole NASA stuff, them telling you about flying out of space, go to this planet. What the fuck do we, I mean, why would we even care about going to another planet when, look at the condition of this planet? That, you see, that goes to show you how foolish they think of people. That people are such fools to the point where they're telling you to focus on outer space while as they destroy the very earth, cut down the forest, destroy nature, spray glyphosate on everything, right? Some of the animals already went extinct, all that kind of stuff. Like human beings have become the literal parasites to the earth that just comes to destroy everything for capitalism, right? But then notice how they give you, oh, focus on NASA, they go into space and go into the moon. Why would you even need to go to the moon? Even if you could, they've never been to no moon. They have never been to any moon, never have. Talking about they lost the footage. Okay? Those are the bullshit story they give people to focus on. And I mean, why would you even care? You know, like over the years, people keep asking me, yo, bro, do you think the earth is flat or the earth is round? And I'm like, yo, why would I care about that? It doesn't matter. It's not significant. It's not going to change nothing. Whether it's flat, round, shaped like an egg, shaped like a triangle, it's insignificant to our life right now. Okay? We literally wake up being slaves. We're born into bondage with a birth certificate, all that kind of stuff, and forced to pay taxes for land. We're literally slaves getting up worrying about what the shape of the earth is when we have not even gotten our freedom. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, that whole shit is fake, talking about they went to moon landing and blah 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 blah. All those videos they show you is inside of their studio. They use fisheye lens to give it a circular effect and tell you all that garbage. For what? You see what I'm saying? Now, let me just try to come in with some ancient knowledge, because again, we talk about that ancient knowledge is always going to be more, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Ancient knowledge is always going to be more accurate. Okay, because ancient knowledge is knowledge that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. See, from the people who've been here way before us. When you go to school and you learn all this stuff from the textbook and what the professor tells you, this is just information that they've made up. Remember, the Educational School Board was created in 1903 by the Rockefeller Foundation. Hello? Listen, none of what they taught you up until now is rooted in ancestral wisdom or no ancient knowledge from the people who've been here. It's all a load of trash. Now, let me introduce you to what the ancient says. And this is one of the reasons why I'm more in alignment with ancient knowledge, because it makes sense to my consciousness. And I can use my sense of observation, my own logics, reasoning, discernment, intuition, awareness, and my mind's ability to make sense of things. I can use all these faculties to direct all these faculties towards a specific topic of conversation and come to a conclusion based off how I process everything. And I'm like, okay, I can see some alignment through nature as well, right? Now, this is directly in regards to the whole going to space, NASA bullshit, going to the moon. Okay, I have so much information for you, right? But let's just start here. Let me ask you a question. How did the ancient people or the ancestors travel all over the world on boats and ships with no engine, just some sails and a few paddles? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about, okay, I want you to think about the fact that right now, if you get on a cruise ship, okay, let's say you're getting on a cruise ship to go to the Bahamas or Jamaica or wherever. It's going to take you days on that cruise ship to get to your destination, right? And these cruise ships have engine, powerful engine, and it's still taking you days to reach to a location. Now, I want you to think about the fact that the ancestors were literally traveling the world on ships. They had no engine, they had no GPS. No Google's map, no satellite, no none of that. All they have is what? Some sails, some paddle boats. So let me ask you a question. How were they able to travel the whole entire globe back and forth accurately? I want you to think. Okay, I want you to think. I want you to give me your idea. Give me your idea what you think. Okay? Somebody say it took them years, laughing emoji. No, it did not. Okay, compass. Yes, yes, a compass is actually correct. They actually use a compass as well, north, east, west, south. But there's some deeper knowledge behind it. But I'm going to allow your brain to work, because that's the process. This is the whole process about having this conversation, for you to let your mind work. Okay, because you also have awareness, intuition, and all of that. You can pull information from a source. It's just that most people, you're not using your brain. Why do you think they give people chat GPT? So to make you dumb and docile for not using your brain. So allow your brain to process, allow your mind to think. How did the ancestors travel all across the world on boats with no engine, no GPS, just a sail, paddles, and a compass? How did they travel all over the world? And no, it did not take them years to reach to their destination. It took them weeks and months. Okay? Okay, somebody got it. The constellation. Yes, the constellation. Somebody said that the sun shadow. That's also a very interesting take too, brother. That's a very interesting take as well. Somebody says the sun. Somebody says the constellation, which is actually correct. Okay, the constellation is actually correct. I don't know how you know that knowledge. I guess you must be over there doing some deep studying, right? Or you've been a part of this live videos over the years when we tap into all of this kind of a stuff. So this is not my first time of delving deep into these levels of conversation, but I don't know how you know that, but it tells me that yeah, you into some esoteric and occult knowledge. You know what's going on. Okay, you know what's going on. Okay, so yes, the stars and the constellation. Okay, now okay, for those who say the stars and the constellation, which you are correct, I want you to give me your take and how does it work. I mean, I am going to tell you if you don't know, but I still want you to give me your knowledge, your awareness on it, because you see, this is how we work together. We kind of like share what we know, because although I know a lot, there's still maybe parts of things that I could learn from you as well. So go ahead and give me your intake. How do they use the constellation as a way to travel the world with no engine, okay, no GPS? Give me your take on it. Also, if you're just now coming in, can you guys share the live for me? Thank you. Most people on my IG doesn't know that I'm live right now, so I would appreciate if you can share the live for me. Okay? The energy was harnessed. No, 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 no. Astrologging. Yep. But the same thing as the constellation, though. Okay. Somebody said they're lying. The stars' reflection on the ocean. Correct. Okay, somebody got it. We got things that caution, and we got warnings, we got agreements. Okay. Spiritually navigating the sky. Alignment to the sunset. Slightly not quite. Where it was situated in the sky. Okay, somebody says God. I mean, God exists within everything: the stars, the ocean, the water, you, me, the elements. Everything contains the fragment or the energy of God, which give everything existence, right? So the correct answer is the reflection of the stars on the ocean. Okay, that's how the constellation works. I see, and that kind of falls into so above, so below. Okay, so they do astrologging, and by using the stars and a constellation, right, they know how to map the stars. So the correct terminology is that the ancestors, they map the stars. You have people that were so good at astrology that they log everything basically. So just like how some of you guys are good at different things, you're gonna have somebody whose brain is just so expansive, like this is their gift. They can map. They know everything about astrology. They're obsessed with it. So they always got one of those person on the boats. Okay? So above, so below. So basically, according to ancestral wisdom, right? So above, so below. So they study the stars and they map the constellation, and then they found the current by using astrology. They find the current in the ocean and get their boats on that current, and that current carries them like a highway, okay, until they reach to a certain point where they basically align to another current that's going in another direction, whether north, south, east, west. The currents is going to move according to the magnetic field on the earth, right? That's how that works. So the currents, or okay, let me just say it in a different way. So the magnetic field or the magnetic pole of the earth creates these currents on the ocean, and they're able to basically use the constellation of the stars to find these currents. So there's various currents running on the ocean, and they're using, because so above, so below. So they're saying what you see into the sky is also below as well. Okay? That's how we know that the portals are inside of the ocean. Okay? So when you talk about you trying to go to the moon, you're trying to go to Mars, you can't go there by flying up into the sky. If you're trying to go there, you'd have to go through the ocean. That's a whole nother conversation for us to have. But yes, that is how the ancestors was able to travel, because they understand how to find the currents, and like a highway, they can branch off on this highway, branch off on that other current, and it takes them to where they want to wherever they want to go. So they didn't need no engine. They didn't need no engine, because the natural current pulling within the water. You see? And this is the reason why even the banking system is derived from the understanding of the water, right? So notice that you have water, which symbolizes the flow of money, and currency come from the current, right? Um, the river banks. That's why you end up having the banking system, right? Because water is the flow of money, it represents abundance basically, and the current is the currency. It all come from the occult understanding of money and the elements. You see, that's why I'm telling you guys that, remember, the whole system is designed from occultists, people who understand metaphysics, people who understand symbols and sigils, amulets, talisman, sorcery. They understand all of that. And then you have the regular citizens that just get up every day and think everything that they see is real, and the religions are real, and the food is real, not realizing that it's a group of people within the secret societies in the background that are creating everything that you see, that have become a part of your reality, which you think is, oh, this is just what life is. It's not. It's somebody else is creating those circumstances, that environment, that lifestyle for you to live, and influencing you to live within that tiny wavelength of a conscious state. And you live that way for the rest of your life, thinking that you're living life. You are never living life. This is how deep this goes. No difference from grown ass parents who are here thinking that jabbing up their baby with a vaccine is gonna give their baby health. You see what I'm saying? Not realizing that you're just following the conditioning of a group of people who claim to be the authority of medical, of health and medical system, and they knows best, and this is what you need to do to your child, and people just blindly follow. Okay? So understand that this society, this reality is being run by people who use sorcery. And at the highest level, these people worship different entities. So demons are actually running society. The whole capitalism system, it's all being run by demons. It's a demonic system, right? Where they basically siphon the energy of people. Like you have to go to work every day in corporate, and whoever's on the highest ladder, whether it be the boss or the supervisor, the manager, talks to everybody as if they're filth. You know, the whole entire system to try to devalue a person, disempower a person, then use them like a slave for their energy. It's all demonic. The whole entire capitalism system about cutting down all the trees, anti-nature, cutting down all the trees to make up more apartment building, to make up more factory. It's all a demonic system that did not come from this realm. It's not something natural of the earth. It's something from a whole nother dimensional space. Okay? But human beings have now become the vessel for these demons to basically get into their body. Okay? It's kind of like a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago, I've seen the whole thing on the internet. I've seen the whole thing on the internet where they were talking about Jim Carrey. They're like, yo, that's not him. And some girl that they call Gomez or something, and they're like, yo, that's not her. What did y'all do with the real her? Right? So I kind of went on a video, and I'm looking and I'm listening to the voice, because I can read energy pretty well. And I can tell that, hey, that's not the original person. So people are not tripping. But here's the thing. A lot of people be like, hey, that's a clone. But it's not necessarily that all of them are clones. Is that an entity have taken the vessel. When these people get into contracts or they get into the Hollywood system, right, for the fame and the money and everything, they're to sell their soul, right? And remember, who wants a physical body? Demons want bodies. That's why they try to possess people anyway. So imagine that these demons are working with people at the head of these record labels and these gatekeepers within Hollywood that they can now bargain for a person's soul. So it's kind of like the demon have full access because what? It was an agreement. You see what I'm saying? You sell your soul, and then the entity takes over the body because the entity wants to have a human experience. So when you are looking at these different people in celebrity, you're like, oh my God, they cloned the person. You don't realize that it's not all of them is not cloned. I'm not saying that they don't possess the technology to do so, but some of these people, it's still their body, but the demon is inside of it. And what's happening is when an entity gets inside of a person's body, right? The frequency of the entity start to morph. It start to morph that person's physical features to become slightly more like the entity, and over time, the person starts to go through um, a little bit of a transformation in a sense. But notice that their eyes don't look the same, their voice is not the same. You see, the energy is completely different because it's a spirit, it's another demon that now takes over that vessel. So this is what we're dealing with. I know sometimes it sounds crazy to think about because it's like, yo, has life become something like a horror movie? Like these are the kind of shit we see in movie. But keep in mind that all these movies and sci-fi movies were literally predictive programming. It's them kind of like introducing you to something slowly to the point that whenever it actually happens for real, people don't start to lash out or be like, what the fuck is this? Is it? I mean, it's kind of like even the other day when the whole files came out and people saw that, oh, what they were actually eating children. And it's like, you would think the whole world would have like ruptured and everything would have been like, you know what I'm saying? People would have really revolted. And you watch everybody a couple of days afterwards, oh my God, the Super Bowl. You see? Because what? To all the movies and the predictive programming, they've slowly introduced these different traumatic things and movies about organ trafficking, movies about people touching children, movies about harvesting children, all that kind of stuff. It's already been planted in movies that people have watched. And then the person says, oh, it's just a movie. You see? Remember, the people who are very sick, what they do, they put certain things in movie because that's the way how they can do it without being scrutinized for it. So they put it in movies and you're going to watch it, and then even though it was crazy, at the end of the day, you're just going to say, well, it was just a movie. You see? Even though they're showing you. But also what you're not realizing is that, hey, that's already imprinted into your subconscious mind already. And because you say, hey, just a movie, you've subconsciously accepted it as being okay. This is how predictive programming works. Okay, it's kind of like it bypasses the conscious mind and gets into the subconscious mind to rewire your perception and what you accept to be, and the things that you accept as normal. This is being done on a psychological level to where the average person don't even understand what's happening to them. Oh, it was just a movie. It's predictive programming. That's why now when you find out that they're eating children, eating babies, raping kids, sacrificing children, it's like, oh, but the Super Bowl comes out. Oh, but did you see the new movie on Netflix? You see? This is how this system works. Okay? Unfortunately, this is what it is. I always knew since I was young that there was something very sinister running this whole entire system. I mean, think about it. The fact that they can be raging a whole war right now, and spending billions of dollars in a couple of days. But take a look at all the homeless people. Listen, they have so much money to the point where everybody in America don't have to be suffering and struggling. Think about them on the money they blew in war. Listen, even $1 billion, even just 1 billion, we're not talking about them on the billions. Even to say $1 billion out of those 16, 17 billions that they spend on war, even 1 billion of that money could be put towards getting up all the homeless people off the street, somewhere give food to eat, somewhere for them to live, and that would still leave millions more. $1 billion alone could help so many people. I mean, Medicare is not even free. Think about that. If you don't got medical insurance, you gotta come up out of your pocket for something. Not to say that they can help you tremendously in any way anyway, but I'm just saying, it goes to show you, if they can spend this amount of money towards killing people but can't put not even a tiny fraction of that money towards helping people, doesn't it show the nature of what's running the system, that is something very evil and something very sinister? So how is it that you guys get up every day and act like this is real life? That's what I'm saying. That really puzzles me. I cannot understand. Y'all get up every single day and act like this is real life and this is normal, and oh, I'm just go to work and make my money and watch more TV. You're asleep. You're not even a real person at this point. It's like you don't even have a soul. They already siphon all the energy from you already to the point where you're just like a NPC, just living for tomorrow, just to enjoy some more pleasures. And that's all there is to your life and your existence. That's what they've done to you. So it was crazy to me seeing that after all of that. I mean, guys, I want you to think about this, right? The fact that you live in a society that your own children are not even safe. Your own children, little babies, are not even safe. And keep in mind, I've been talking about this stuff for years. For the last 15, 16 years. Every time I get on live, I say, yo, this is crazy because over 800,000 children go missing alone in America. Over 800,000 children go missing. Now, I know that Google's probably not going to show you this information anymore because they've been censoring and filtering out information to try to condition people's mind towards something else. But if you go to Google and you go to DuckGo, use like another search engine and look up the amount of children that's missing since January until now. Okay? Look up last year. Because, listen, I was doing the research, and even last year, in Virginia alone, there is over 7,000 children that was missing from January to August. From January to August in just Virginia alone, over 7,000 children was missing. Just snatched up and gone. Now, America has the most powerful militaries and navy and everything. So you're telling me that much children is going missing and nobody's looking for them? Y'all got the most craziest weapons, everything, surveillance, everything, and nobody's looking for the children? You see what I'm saying? And now look at them on the children that go missing a year. Almost 1 million children go missing every year. Every single year. So you wake up every day and act like life is good and life is sweet, worshiping celebrities, out here fucking making more babies that you can't even protect. You're just feeding the vampires. You're just feeding them, basically. And you send your kids to public school, you think that you're doing them a favor. You're not doing your kids a favor sending them to public school. Nobody in their right mind send their kids to public school. People send their kids to private school or mystery school. Those are the real schools that teach true intrinsic knowledge for a person to truly elevate their consciousness and true wisdom that they can actually use to navigate life. Anybody who send their kids to public school is just a conditioned person who send their kids to be a slave as a battery for the system. You see what I'm saying? Also, if you look inside of the files, didn't you notice that a company that was a part of like a government program, I think, that was actually going around taking pictures and was actually attached to that island, that was using them photos to... Yeah. They was bidding, using them very same pictures. They come to the school to take pictures just so that they can go bid what kid they want to take and snatched up. Isn't that crazy? I mean, how much more do you need to see for you to realize that none of this shit is real? None of it. Everything they sold you and told you about is fake. Your food is fake. They put the fluoride in your water for a reason, to make you docile. That's why a lot of y'all, you don't feel no sense of, of urgency. You don't feel nothing. You're like, oh yeah, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that on the files. But Tyler Perry movie comes out next week. That's what fluoride does to you. It lowers your awareness ability and fucks up your mental cognition. You have no pineal gland. It's gone. It's done. So likewise, your food is fake. Your water is fake. We already know that the news is fake. We don't need to talk about that. We already know that your news is fake. Been fake. The whole stuff. We fly to the moon. Fake. Your religion, sorry. I know a lot of y'all want to cling to your religion. Oh my God, yes. God, God's going to come down here one day. That's fake too. Unfortunately, I have to tell you the truth. Okay? Have you also noticed how God is a man, how they remove the woman and the woman is the evil one? Have you noticed how the woman is the evil one that betrays and eat the apple, and the woman betrays Adam and she becomes Lilith, and it's always the woman's fault? Notice? There's not a single religion that respects women or love women. Every single religion make women the enemy. You don't find that suspicious? Tell me, you don't find that suspicious? It's all real and it's all normal, right? That's what I'm talking about. That is what fluoride does to you. And a lot of y'all, you have, you have cognitive dissonance, where you get super defensive against new information or any information that goes against your conditioning. A lot of y'all, you're like that. The moment somebody starts talking about something that's, you know, outside of the confines of your belief, all of a sudden you get mad, you get upset. They become the villain of your story now because you're an agent. That's what an agent is. You remember in the Matrix where they had Mr. Smith and he could morph into anybody? It's trying to show you that you're an agent based off the programmings that you hold inside of your consciousness. Because the moment somebody starts saying something against the system, you activate. You activate and you're ready to go fight them to protect the very same system that have made you a slave. The same system that's been poisoning you, eating up your children. And you are here ready to fight. You're an agent. As I said time and time again, I don't know what it's going to take for some of y'all to wake up and realize that all this shit is just bondage. The fact that you're born as a baby and you have a birth certificate, they literally trick your mother, they trick your parents to sign you over as property of the state. What ancestor or ancient civilization ever had such thing as a birth paper or birth certificate? This is new. It's a whole new system that they came up with. Why do they have your name which your parents sign you over as property of the state? It's a contract. You're literally born into bondage as a slave. They own you on paper. Ain't a single human being on earth that needs a birth paper. What's the purpose of a birth certificate? Please tell me, what is the purpose of a birth certificate? What is the purpose of it? Do you ever need a birth certificate to do I mean, just to live or function? You don't. It's for them because they own you, because your parents sign you over. Remember, energetically, spiritually, your parents are your guardians. They use their portal to bring you here. I want you to see how this stuff works, because remember, the devil cannot attack you unless you open up the doors. You remember this? The devil cannot attack you unless you open up the doors. We all know this. Once you come in agreement with the devil, now the devil can attack your life. That's what the whole movie, the whole Sinner movie was truly really about. It's trying to show you that, hey, you have to let the devil in before the devil can attack your life. Okay? Spiritually, I don't want you to look at this stuff just physically anymore. We've been looking at too much shit physically. Look at this shit spiritually. Everything is spiritual before it becomes physical, right? Look at this spiritually. Your parents are your guardian. They use their portal to bring you here. Okay? So when your parents was having sex and created you, they open up a portal. That portal is what you came through to come into the physical manifestation of life, and you get a physical body. So both your parents use the materials from their body to create you a body. So these are, your parents own you basically. You're a byproduct of your parents. Spiritually. So what do you think happened when a broker comes in with a piece of paper and put your name on that paper, and have both your parents sign it. Remember, as a baby, it's like you don't have no say in nothing. Both your parents sign you over as property of the state. So we're all born into bondage. Okay, let me ask you a question. Why do you think that they can just force you to go to war against your will? Even though you don't care about no war, no nothing, you just trying to live a good life, find love and have a nice little family. But they can just come and draft you and tell you, hey, you have to go over here to go pick up gun to go shoot and kill people that have never done nothing to you. I want you to think about that. The fact that they can force you or you go to prison. Think about it, because do you guys remember Muhammad Ali when they actually drafted him and he refused? Because he's like, yo, why would I go to another country to pick up arms to go kill innocent people that have never done nothing to me personally in life? Listen, they revoked that man boxing title. And keep in mind that he acquired his title through his own hard work and his own gift. It's not as if like to say if you go to a college or university and you graduated with a certain degree and they can be like, oh, since we issue you the degree, we're just going to take it back or terminate it. It's not that kind of a dynamic. This man uses talent, his hard work, and his training in box. And listen, the fact that they can take away his title, his boxing title from him that he earned, and then send him to prison, what does that tell you? Think about it. You're not free, you're a slave. You're born into bondage as a slave. That's why they can draft you and send you to go die for them. And notice that rich people, they will never send their own children. Think about it. They will never send their own children. Right? They're happy in their bunkers, warm and everything, as they send other people's child to go die. This is just how the system is created, because you're born into bondage as a slave, as a property. It's also one of the reasons why you can't own nothing. You can't own a car, you cannot own a house. You're just a holder. Did you know that? I know a lot of y'all, you come on Instagram, you're like, look, I just bought my Mercedes Benz. Yay. Are you guys happy for me? And I'm like, yeah, we're happy that you're excited and you get something that you want. That's good. But at a higher level, anybody who have true knowledge knows that you don't own that car. The moment you register that car with the state, it becomes property of the state. You don't own that car once you register it with the state. Okay? Also, you're not allowed to own any house. That's why you still have to pay land tax. So you can't just go buy a house and be like, yeah, I'm gonna just live in my house and enjoy my life. No, they're gonna show up at your door and be like, yo, you gotta pay us tax for this land, otherwise we're closing your house down. So you see, you're not allowed to own anything. Only the king. I don't know who the fuck is the king, because I don't got no king out here. Okay. So, but I know you guys got king and people y'all worship, because y'all worship people and celebrities. So most of y'all, your consciousness is already subservient to others. I don't operate that way. So maybe y'all got kings and queens. I don't got none of that. Okay. Okay. My higher consciousness, is the only thing I follow and listen to, right? So, but only the king is allowed to own property, and it's called a allodial title. You can look this up, okay? So I just want you to realize that this whole entire life that you're living, how fake it is, okay? You're property of the state. They own you via your birth paper, and both your parents signed you over, okay? You're not allowed to own nothing, no vehicle. Once you register your car with the state owns it. You cannot buy any house. You never own the house. They own it. If you don't give them tax for the land, they take it away from you. See how that works? Your food is poison, your water is poison, the drugs poison, can never really heal you or help you. The religions are fake. The school system, created in 1903 by Rockefeller Foundation, fake information. That's not no true intrinsic knowledge. That's not grounded in ancestral wisdom. Okay? Your news is fake. They give you polyester clothing to wear, fake fragrances as perfume and cologne to kill your hormones, right? They put a lot of estrogen in the food to feminize men, to weaken the men, give the women fibroids. Everything is basically engineered. They have you smoking synthetic weed, And it was so crazy to me. Look at the amount of men that have went to jail. Look at the amount of family that have been broken through them sending men to prison over weed. Only for weed to be legalized, right? And now y'all going to the dispenser buying weed, and you guys are buying synthetic weed. If they're gonna legalize weed, shouldn't they release everybody from prison and compensate them for basically ruining their life and stealing their freedom over weed? I'm trying to show you how this society is so docile, bro. They all are here. Oh yes, celebrating weed is legal now. Because what? Now the systems and the rich people can make billions of dollars from that weed. That's why they legalized the weed. Remember, even in New York, the governors were talking about, oh, they're going to legalize weed because they can tax the weed. So now because they can make money from it, they're going to legalize weed. But what happened to all the men that were sent to prison and jail over that weed? Shouldn't they be released and compensated for their time, at least? See, nobody's thinking that far. Everybody's just looking at the fact that, oh yeah, weed is legalized and we can go smoke some weed now. It's weed day. These are the kind of people that are dangerous. You see what I'm saying? These are the NPCs. And look at the weed that you're smoking. You're smoking a military experiment grade of weed. That's not no real weed. Talking about loud. I got that loud, bro. You're smoking weed with traces of fentanyl in it. Why do you think you guys get so lazy and non-productive when you smoke the weed? That's not real weed. Notice when you go to Jamaica, you see Rastafarians smoking real weed, and they're building baskets and building stuff, writing music, because they smoke real weed, which boosts their creativity. Y'all smoke fake weed over here and become lazy and docile and outside on the block, post up on the block, talking about you run the block. Like how the hell do you run the block? You don't own nothing on the block. You don't got no house on the block. You don't got no business on the block. You live in apartment 5B, but you run the block. You see, these are kind of mental delusion that these substances put people in, and they swear thing that they're experiencing real life. So when you start to view reality from different layers, you realize how fucked up mentally 90% of people are within the system. Okay? And their whole entire reality is constructed from fake inherited beliefs. Many people don't want to wake up. They want to wake up every single day clinging on to what they're used to, what they think is normal. It was never normal. None of it was ever normal. From the moment you came into this reality, you came into a world that had already been hijacked. Not even a world, a society. Okay? That had already been hijacked and controlled by a group of people that are very evil, that are operating under demonic influence. So all the information that comes all the way down, it's all organized. Okay? It's all organized to keep you in that blueprint where they can keep siphoning your energy. I don't know how much more lives we're going to have to go talking about this. I don't know how much more conversation of the same thing for you guys to wake up and realize it is all fake. That's why I say to you that, hey, go within yourself and cultivate your own path going forward. Listen to your intuition. Meditate. If you want to talk to God, go sit down in silence. Quiet your mind. Go into the silence and bring your mind to stillness and listen to intuition. The deeper questions, the deeper mysteries of your own existence, ask them from your own soul. It will respond to you. It's always talking to you, but you're not listening. You're walking around here with a whole bunch of low vibrational music in your earpods all day long. You're worshiping celebrities all day long, idolizing fake idols that sold their soul. See, you're drinking fluoride water, eating processed food containing human meat, eating all them burgers. You've been eating human beings. Y'all literally been eating human beings for at least 20 plus years. I talked about this in 2015 when the study came out, when they found human DNA inside of them burgers. And what did you all say? Oh, conspiracy theorists, where's the proof? You see, and it took the controllers to expose it themselves and put it into the files. Now you guys are reading through all the Epstein files and be like, oh damn, they really have been feeding us human meat. You see what I'm talking about? Because what? You refuse to wake up and you're clinging to what you think is so real. It's all fake. So again, you have to cultivate your own path going forward. You have to get rid of the inherited beliefs. Okay? 90% of the world is living based off inherited beliefs. They never had their own experience, never had their own epiphany, nothing. It's all about what somebody told them, and that person, somebody told that person. It's all inherited belief. And most people have never done anything to even verify if what they're being told to believe in is true. They never verify nothing. They just get up every day and say, hey, that's true, that's true. And just as a prime example, I'm gonna show you as a prime example how shit like this works, right? I'm gonna show you as a prime example how shit like this works. Just as a prime example. So remember a couple of days ago we were talking about the papaya, right? And I've talked about this many times about the papaya, but yesterday night we was on live testing out the papayas. And again, somebody commented in the comment section and they're like, oh, you're supposed to swallow the seeds whole. I'm gonna show you how inherited beliefs work. I'm gonna show you how mentally like fuck a lot of people are, right? And it's not really their fault. It's not that they're stupid or nothing. It's just that for most people, they're like there's so much of followers and they don't think. I'm not saying that you can't learn from other people or believe in a concept or a theory, but at least process it with your mind and your faculties to see if it makes sense before you start to run with it. That's what I'm saying, right? So a lot of people on the internet is going around talking about to use papaya seeds as a parasite cleanse, you need to consume them whole because they're magnetic and they're going to magnetize to the parasites and pull them out of the body. I don't know who came up with that bullshit. Obviously somebody that knows nothing about parasite cleanse or herbs or nothing like that. That's the thing. Everybody come on the internet and everybody wants to be a guru. You see, everybody wants to be a authoritative figure of knowledge over things that they have no knowledge about at all. That's the worst bullshit I've ever heard in my life. Now, let me tell you something. You see the original study that was done to even allow the world to know that papaya seeds were a powerful and anti-helminthic parasite cleanse was done in Africa with 70 children where they literally open the papaya, okay? Take the seeds out of the papaya and they grind it down. Okay, so they grind out the seeds of the papaya and then administer it to 70 different children and split them into like 3 groups and test. And at the end of the whole phase, it was shown that 90% of all parasites was eliminated from the body. Okay? Now, understand this. Inside of the papaya seeds contains something we call papain. Okay? It's called papain. Just like in pineapples, you have bromelain. Notice when you eat too much pineapple, your tongue start to feel like the pineapple is trying to eat you. Like you're eating the pineapple, but the pineapple is also eating you too. Because what? The bromelain inside of the pineapple, it tenderizes meat. It can break down proteins and tissues and stuff like that. That's why they use the bromelain or pineapple juice to tenderize meat as well, right? So just as an example, just like how you have bromelain in papaya, you have bromelain in pineapple, you have papain inside of papaya seed. So the compound is called papain. Okay? If you swallow the papaya seeds whole, you're gonna poop them back out whole. Okay, you can look in the toilet and see they all come right back out. What you need to do is you need to bite into or slightly chew the papaya seed so that the papain can be released once it hit the digestive juice inside of your gut or the hydrochloric acid. Then that papain can now be distributed to go kill parasite, eggs, and biofilm everywhere else inside of the body. But notice how so many people on the internet is running with the same bullshit theory talking about, oh no, you need to swallow them whole. How would you know? You see what I'm saying? followers, blind followers. Ain't nothing more dangerous than blind followers. And not only are they dangerous to themselves, but to also other people that they're sharing that information with so confidently as if they know something. That's the reason why wisdom always trumps knowledge. Wisdom always trumps knowledge. You see, because knowledge is just information. But wisdom is when you've applied information and through the experience you've gained the wisdom. So it's not knowledge that you need. What you need is wisdom. So we're living in a society where nobody have any wisdom anymore. Wisdom is like a ancient thing. Everybody just trying to collect a whole bunch of information that they've not, that has no use to them, by the way, and they're not applying it. And that's why I say each and every session that we're delving deeper into things, whether physically, metaphysically, mentally, spiritually. I always say to you, make sure that whatever we talked about, if you find the information to sound like it's intrinsic to your growth, I need you to start to apply the information tomorrow. No point of us talking about all these deep topics if you're not utilizing that knowledge to gain the benefit of it into your life. Okay? So this is what it is. This is the kind of world that we've found ourselves into. Honestly, sometimes I had to sit down with myself. I'm like, damn, how did I end up here? See, but when I think about it on a deeper level, I'm like, okay, divine intelligence reincarnate me here at this specific time. So, and I have a duty and a purpose to fulfill. And that's why every day of my life, I live every minute of my life, every second and minute of my life being purposeful. You will never see me on the internet just to see me on the internet. Notice you've never seen me on the internet if we're not having a deep build about something that's intrinsic to our growth and our evolution. Okay? Because listen, I've been realized that I've came into a crazy world or a society of a world already. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? But when I used to question like, yo, how did I end up here? How did I end up here? Right? And I think about it on a deeper level. I'm like, okay, I guess God or the universe, divine intelligence, whatever you want to call it, okay, allow me to reincarnate here at this specific time, and it has to be a reason for that. And so I try to live in alignment with that reason every moment that I have, right? And a lot of y'all are also very heavenly gifted, and we also need you. Because remember, everybody contains a fragment or what we call that divine spark. Okay? So what you can do, I can do what you can do. Nobody can do what you can do because you're gifted in whatever gift that God have placed within you. But what happened when you're out here eating processed food, right? Killing yourself, soul motion, suicide. You're out here idol worshiping. You're not tapping into your inner power so that you can show up for your purpose. You're distracted. You're lost. What happened when you're lost? And you can't show up. Everybody who needed you, you also let them down. So you're not only letting yourself down. You see, you're letting down all the people that needed to meet you on the journey so that you can help them with whatever unique gift that God have placed within you. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand there's a deeper meaning and a purpose as to why you're alive right now. You could have been born in the 1800s or the 1700s or 1920s, but you're here now alive in the flesh. Why are you here? Do you think that this is some kind of a mistake or coincidence or Big Bang Theory bullshit that they've been telling y'all? Everything is according to divine alignment. You're here right now because you're supposed to be here. There's a deeper meaning and a purpose behind your existence of you being alive right now. But listen, you got to go figure it out. You got to figure it out. So again, when you don't show up for yourself to live in your purpose, you let down all the people that you're supposed to help along the journey that needed you, because nobody else can do what you can do. Nobody can fill the space that you can fill. Remember, that's the whole idea as to why you have your own unique fingerprint. Notice? Nobody else in the world has a fingerprint like yours, right? Because your fingerprint is a map of your magnetic field, which is your energetic signature. There's nobody else like you. There's only one of you. You're unique. But see, this society have reduced people down to numbers. They disempower people to turn them into like a worthless skin suit. Telling you that your only value is just for you to, work and pay some bills and that's it. You see? They've reduced you to nothing. You have to go within to merge and unlock and tap into your true inner power, into your true authenticity, you see, into your own, energetic frequency or soul blueprint. You got to do it. I can't do it for you. Nobody else can do it for you. See? But you're not going to reach that stage if what you're consuming, you're killing your own self. Okay? If you're getting your energy drained within the system, you're not going to have enough energy for to raise up your vibration to reach your higher self. You see, so a lot of y'all be thinking that, oh, this is just about eating some healthy foods and fruits and vegetables. You don't get it. Listen, you don't get it. Okay, this kind of work is deeper than that. This is not just about, oh, no vegan versus no meat eater versus no pescatarian versus no vegetarian. Some of y'all still don't get it, the way I go so hard about this stuff. Because I can see far ahead of how important this is. This is not just about some eat some food and detox and call it a day. No, by you cleaning out your temple, start to eat in accordance with your genetical structure, right? Your gene expression is going to start to become activated. Your vibrations start to raise. Your consciousness starts to ascend. You start to tap into different level of awareness, right? Literally, your consciousness starts to expand beyond the normal parameters of the average meat-eating human beings, burger-eating human beings walking around, what that we call NPC. So this is much deeper than what you thought. Okay? You cleaning out your temple is you removing all the poisons that they've basically put inside of your body while you were young. You see, while you were still vulnerable, you didn't know what was going on. Your parents was already also programmed. They was giving you the ice cream, the cotton candy. They was giving you all the dead animals and the starches and the frosted flakes and the milk and the honey nut Cheerios. They literally program your parents to also poison you too. So a lot of y'all, you have gifts and you have abilities that is like you're not even aware of your own gifts and abilities because what? You're too dense, you're too heavy. Your arteries are clogged up with cholesterol. You're full of heavy metals, parasite, waste, preservative, artificial cover, artificial color, artificial flavor. So you can't come awaken to who you truly are and know what your purpose is and start to live in your true authenticity or your soul blueprint because you're contaminated. Remember, the Bible tells you what? The body is the temple of God. The kingdom of God is within. What happened when you're walking around with a filthy temple? What happened when you're walking around with a filthy temple? You see how deep this stuff goes? And y'all had the fucking audacity in 2020 to go sit there and take a jab. I was so disappointed in y'all. Like you don't understand. I was so disappointed. I can't believe you really betrayed yourself like that. After all the betrayal that you've been through throughout your life with friends, family, relationship, you get up and turn around and also betrayed your soul on top of that. That's crazy to me. I can't even fathom that. Can't even fathom that. So yeah, I don't know what it's gonna take for y'all to wake up. Okay? I don't. Listen, the world will never go back to normal again. Okay? There's no way y'all can see what they're doing to children for y'all to go back and oh, it's all good, it's all normal. Let me just go watch more movies and the world will never go back to that again. Okay? So let me put you on to what should be your focus right now. Okay? I know you can't really own any land in the system, but you're gonna have to buy some land. Okay? Buy some land. You're gonna have to learn how to grow your own food. Bill Gates is out there, getting the okay to go spray all kind of stuff on your foods and your produces. Honestly, within the next couple of months, I don't even think I want nothing at all from the supermarket. I'm about to go. Listen, I'm about to go to no more supermarkets at all. Okay? I'm gonna start driving to the local farms and just buying stuff from the local farms, like my cabbage, okay, and stuff like that. Because now they're spraying stuff like they're doing. What is so interesting? A lot of people have talked about hell, or in hell, and the devil and the demons in hell, but they're here. Have you sit down and realized that the whole devils and demons and stuff that they were talking about down into hell in the fire, where you're gonna go if you don't repent, they're here. This is it.